Okay, we'll move on to our next coach. We have two more to go. Next one is Jamey Chadwell of Charleston Southern. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Mark. How are we today?
Doing fine. Hope you guys are doing well. Bucks open up at home under the lights for the first time Thursday night, 7 p.m. against Point. You can talk about how preseason camp went, any new starters that may have emerged from those we're not expecting back at Media Day, and then obviously talk about the fact of opening up at night at home, first of 4 straight home games, and then we'll talk about Point.
Well, Mark, this was it was a unique, actually, football camp for our school. This is the first time that we actually started school yesterday. So normally we're in camp 2 weeks and then in school for a week before we get into game week. This year it was 3 weeks of straight football camp, training camp, and then you break and you start school, and then we're playing this week. It's a little bit different. So we had to try to do some things a little bit out of our norm. I'm a big routine guy, and so try to do some things to get break some of the monotony at camp. But it's pretty solid. We had felt like we had a lot of young guys that we had to try to get ready that need to help us in part of our 2 deep and some special teams wise, and we feel like we've got those guys in position to make a run at really being contributors this year. We're going to have probably, I'd say, 6 or 7 freshmen that are going to be playing significant roles. 3 of those in the secondary, 1 at linebacker, and 1 at defensive line, and then we will be playing a couple of true freshmen at the wide receiver position that for some injuries that we had during camp that we need some depth-wise. Our starter quarterback will be Austin Brown. Danny Krogan obviously was a starter leaving last year. Danny's not completely healed from his injury that he suffered during the season and through off-season shoulder surgery. So we're going with Austin as our starter, and he's done a good job in camp and came in spring ball and did a good job there. So we feel strongly about the direction he'll head us. We're hoping Danny can get back healthy here soon. That's the goal. Kyle Copeland ended fall camp as our 3rd-team quarterback, and he'll be our emergency guy and played a lot of football for us last year. Opening up on Thursday night underneath the lights. So you guys have talked a lot about that. I've talked a lot about that. I think it's very important for development of our program, the direction that we want to go, what type of program we want to be, where we can become consistently a good program every year, and to be able to play under the lights Thursday night, get more of our community involved, get more of our students involved. There's an excitement. There's a lot of spirit among campus right now about the Thursday night checking out, being part of something for the first time. You don't often get to do that, and to be able to be a part of the first night game in CSU history and the first Thursday night game. A lot of people are talking about it, and we look forward to having a good crowd and getting off to a good start on Thursday.
All right, we'll take questions for Charleston Southern head coach Jamey Chadwell. To ask a question, please press star 1 on your phone at any time, or click the Q&A link near the top of your browser. Click raise hand, and while questions come in, Coach, talk about this week's opponent, Point.
Well, Point has played a couple schools from our conference, played PC and Gardner-Webb last year. They got the majority of guys back from last year's teams, and were competitive early on in those games, and got worn out at the end. Anytime you play somebody the first game of the year and they're a new opponent, there's a bit of uneasiness because you really don't know, are they doing the same exact things, or have they changed completely, what's their depth chart, all those things. So I think there's going to be a lot of figuring each other out here early. They're trying to figure us out, we're trying to figure them out, and see if the video matches up to what you see. But we expect the team to come in and play really hard. They're an NAIA school, so obviously they're going to use this game versus a Division I team as their championship game, so to speak. So we know we're going to get their best effort, and everybody should be completely healthy coming in. So we expect a tough game, and we've really been focused on us, what we have to do, our team, to get better, come out and show the development we've made. But they're very aggressive. They like to run power football on offense and very aggressive on defense. So it'll be a good challenge for us. And our new guys, the first time playing there, how they adjust to the first time with those pads on in a college environment.
All right, thanks, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions for Charleston Southern head coach Jamey Chadwell. And first question for you, Coach, is from David Shelton of the Charleston Post and Courier. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Jamey. How are you this morning?
David, good. How you doing?
Doing good. I want to talk a little bit about the decision to start Austin Brown. I know with Danny being hurt, it was really more or less a two-man race, but you spoke in the early preseason about Austin picking up all the nuances of your offense. Obviously, he hasn't got it all down, but obviously you feel good enough that he made the progress you had hoped he would make in the last 2 weeks.
He has. I think especially, when you start out fall camp, you're going against your defense, and our defense is pretty complex. Show you a lot of different looks, and I think it's good over the long haul. But early on, a quarterback really, I think, struggles if you've not been in the system. Struggles to get everything down because you see so many different things. Once we got away from our defense and started, really game planning for point and our other opponents and seeing, certain looks that we're going to be seeing in those games. His not his knowledge, but just his understanding, being comfortable, really took off over the last week and a half to 2 weeks, and gave us the confidence that we needed that he's ready to go out and perform. Kyle Copeland, had a really good camp as well, and Danny, when he was able to get in there, it was very few. He didn't get a lot of practices, but he was still the same old Danny, but it just not where he needs to be able to play a whole game. And so we felt Austin gave us the best chance to win, best chance to for the program going forward, what we wanted to accomplish in our long-term vision, and we're excited about what Austin can do, and looking forward to seeing him perform.
On backing up that, as Danny gets healthy or healthier, you at least have more depth at quarterback than you had last year. As Danny gets more healthy, so you think possibly he could be playing if needed.
That's the plan. We'd like to, as he's developing, getting his health back, we'd love to use him some in certain series in the games if that's possible. One, to get the rust off. Two, really just to get his confidence back there through the injury that, hey, I'm okay, everything's going to be fine. And then once we get him to that point, we feel like the physical part is coming, just the mental part of that, being an injury, especially at quarterback with your shoulder, that takes a while to get through. Once he gets there, then I anticipate you'll see both of them play in games.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. And, Coach, next question for you is from Chris Lang of the Lynchburg News and Advance. Go ahead, Chris.
Jamey, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Chris. Appreciate the question.
Yeah, real quick for you, with Nathan Pereira, how healthy is he, and do you have any expectations on him, knowing he was pretty good 2 years ago when he was completely healthy, but it's been a while since he's been on the field?
It has. To be honest, we feel like we're playing with some house money with him. He's not completely back from his injuries. Obviously, he had the shoulder injury 2 years ago, then tore his ACL last summer. And he's right at a little bit over a year out of that ACL. And he's not completely back to 100%, but we feel like he's pretty close. And he's over this fall camp. We've not practiced him every day. We've tried to get him to the game, trying to get the horse to the gate, so to speak. And he's made some good strides. In our last scrimmage, we let him go full bore, and he got hit, did some things, and came out of that okay. We don't really know what we're going to have there until he gets hit the first time in a row game and how he responds. Everything that we know, he's healthy as far as from the from the doctors and the athletic trainers. Again, when you've had two injuries, that plays with your mind, and the mental part of that is just getting over. Hey, the first time you really plant and do something, is my knee going to hold up? Or first time I get driven on that shoulder, is my shoulder going to hold up? And we've not obviously put him in that many situations to see how that's going to happen, because we want to get him for the game. So we're hoping, we need him to be, if not exactly, at least close to what he was 2 years ago. We've had some injuries at wide receiver, and we need him to come back. That'll help us tremendously. But if I told you, hey, I felt confident about him being here the whole year, that's a lie. We're taking him game by game. We take him practice by practice to try to get him where he can come out every Saturday and perform. So we treat him a little bit different than some other guys just because of the injuries he's had.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And, Coach, final question for you is from Nick Pierce of the Liberty Flames Sports Network.
Hey, good morning, Jamey.
Morning.
Defensively, how do you feel about this unit coming into this year?
Feel pretty solid about it. We've got 5 returning defensive linemen that played a lot of football for us last year. That's going to be really our foundation. So we feel pretty good about the front right there. 2 linebackers that played a lot of football. Do not have a lot of depth behind them, so that's a concern. And then we've got 3 starters coming back in the secondary, 2 safeties and a corner. We have to play some young guys there behind them. We don't have any depth at the corner positions or safety. So our concern is those young guys, how they respond. But our first 11, we feel as good as anybody in our league that they match up, that we put our first 11 out there, and we got a chance to play pretty good defensive football, very similar to what we did last year. And so as long as we can stay healthy and those young guys develop the way they need to, none of them need to be starters right now, but they're going to have to play some significant time, and when they're in there, they're going to make some mistakes. If we can coach them through those mistakes, allow those mistakes not to be fatal, keep their confidence, because that's the hard thing as young guys. They're trying the best to play, and this is their dream. They want to play, and they get a chance to do that. And then sometimes you don't perform at the level you need to. You start losing that confidence. So we've been a lot of time of really just attacking their mental state and how they need to perform, and that they never need to lose confidence in themselves. So if they'll come around, I feel like we'll be one of the tops in the conference there, defense at the end of the year.
So it's probably a good thing that you can open with someone not Florida State. You can kind of figure some things out here the first week or two.
Well, you hope so. We never disrespect any opponent, because you never know how anything goes. But on paper, we should be a better football team. Our team realizes that. Paper's never won anything. But hopefully, if we'll play to our level, our best, we're a better football team. And then if that happens, maybe we are allowed to make a few mistakes here and there. We can learn from a win instead of a loss, like if you're playing a big time school. But for us and our guys, we want them to understand that every game you got to treat it all the same, no matter if it's playing for a conference championship or you're playing one of these Division Ones or you're playing a team that in theory you should be better than. That's the mindset we've been trying to create, and you hope that you can go out and they play well, and if the mistakes they do, they don't kill you. They don't hurt you and keep you from being successful on game day.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. And Coach, that's all the questions we have for you, so we'll let you go. But thanks for joining us, and good luck Thursday night in the opener.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate y'all.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.